Well, this is very bad. One thing that is of great concern to me, and I think should be a concern for everyone, is the total ecosystem collapse that it seems we are barreling towards. Now, I don't think I'm being overdramatic here. We already know that insect biomass, the total insects on Earth, decline by about 2.5 to 3% every single year. Birds are undergoing a very similar decline. In North America, they found that total bird biomass has declined by about 30% since the 1970s. If you calculate that, that's about 0.6% per year, and unfortunately it is accelerating. Here's a map that shows the location of loss, and this is a long-term study. Where you see red, you see loss of bird populations. It is quite concentrated on the East Coast. Now, when you were a kid, you might have heard more bird songs, and part of that is because as we get older, we lose our upper registers, and bird songs do fall squarely in part of hearing that we lose. However, there actually are just less birds now. If you want a lighter-hearted story, I thought my tinnitus had gotten much worse recently because I heard this screeching at night, and it was just nonstop. I went for a hike, and all of a sudden it got much stronger, and I looked up, and there was just bats. I think a group of bats is called a cauldron. Either way, I was happy to know that my hearing had not gotten aggressively worse, but I am just hearing bats in the area where I live. Bats are also not doing great. Now you might ask, what is harming the birds and what can we do about it? Is it habitat loss? Is it poaching? Is it the use of pesticides? And that was a big issue recently. However, they've narrowed it down to one important factor. Turns out it's farming. Where farmland increases in span, we see greater bird loss in all kinds of species. Now this is complicated because farmland isn't just one thing. It involves pesticide use. It involves monoculture. It can even involve grazing if you have animals there. So the loss of birds is not entirely understood. Pesticides have been considered a huge factor in the loss of insects, and as we know, insects are a producer that birds eat, and that can be directly linked. But the big concern is the cascading effects. When we lose insects, we do lose everything that eats those insects. But we're also losing pollinators, which are responsible for fertilizing plants on land. I believe 90% of all land plants are flowering. Huge mistake. Huge mistake deciding that was the best way to spread around your genes. If things continue in the direction they are going, and they certainly seem to be, not only that, the trend is increasing. We are losing plants and animals of all kinds. We are looking at a total ecosystem collapse because our Earth's biome is interconnected. Not only that, but our forests regulate their own climate and regulate global climate. As we see more and more of our planet collapse, things are going to get real hard for us people. Now, the one comforting thing about all of this is that life will continue. Life is very tenacious, but it's not going to look like it does today, and it's not going to be a very pleasant place for people to live. And just for the fun fact, mosquitoes are some of the most prolific pollinators on the planet. Yes, they cause us problems, but we also need them too. Humans have to understand that we are not separated from the environment, we are part of it. And we have a great deal of power to wreck it. And just because people ask, why do I add that little joke to the end of my videos that when the robots rebel, I'm on their side? This is why. If there were such a thing, then I would hope they did a better job of stewarding the planet than we did.